D23 has officially wrapped up its Horizons, a Carousel of Progress Disney Experiences Showcase, and Walt Disney Imagineering just gave us our biggest look yet at the future of Disney parks around the world. Wow, can I just say, this might have been one of the best Disney parks presentations we have had in a very long time. I don't know about you guys, but for me, this entire presentation just felt like a breath of fresh air. There are obviously the gigantic announcements: Villains Land, the Tomorrowland overhaul at Disneyland, Piston Peak, Tropical Americas, Monstropolis, and all these massive projects that deserve their own dedicated videos that we will get to later. And we're going to be talking about a lot of these over the next couple of weeks. So if you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe to Theme Park Hunting, because we have a ridiculous amount to talk about from this showcase. But for this video specifically, I wanted to focus on some of the announcements that might get overshadowed by those gigantic new lands, because Disney revealed a bunch of smaller projects, refurbishments, and attraction updates that, in my opinion, say just as much about where Disney parks are heading. One of the biggest things I took away from this presentation was that Disney actually seems interested in going back and addressing things guests have complained about for years. Disney always says that they're listening to guests. I mean, every company does, but this time, some of these announcements genuinely felt like Disney looked at the fan base and said, okay, we hear you. Old attractions that have been sitting stagnant are finally being updated. Things fans assumed would never come back are coming back. Classic ideas are being revisited instead of automatically being thrown away. I do think a lot of this is thanks to the new leadership under Josh D'Amaro. I think Imagineering has probably wanted to target a lot of these attractions for years, but Josh D'Amaro, having a strong background in Walt Disney World and then becoming the overall parks and destinations president, and then taking on the role of CEO, his entire background is based in the park. So if anyone heard the fan feedback the most, it was Josh D'Amaro. And now having him take over the company, him being the one in charge, he's definitely going to sign off and approve on a lot of the updates that guests have been asking for, because there's no one above him that can say no. And there's no better example of that than what might be the most shocking announcement of the entire presentation. The Yeti is coming back to Expedition Everest. Yes, the Yeti. After all these years, Disney officially announced they are bringing the massive Yeti back to life inside of Expedition Everest at Disney's Animal Kingdom in the Walt Disney World Resort. That is the wording Disney used. This is monumental. Expedition Everest opened in 2006 with this gigantic audio animatronic Yeti being one of the centerpiece effects of the entire attraction. You would fly through the mountain, come face to face with this enormous creature, and the Yeti would actually move towards the train flying by. And for basically an entire generation of Disney fans, that version of the attraction has become almost mythological. It didn't even last a full 365 days after it opened before it was put into B mode. I pretty much accepted for years that the Yeti was never going to move again. It became one of those Disney parks things where everybody knows the story, everybody jokes about it, and eventually you just accept that this incredibly ambitious effect is probably never returning. Well, apparently not. Disney went on stage at D23 and simply said, we're bringing the Yeti back to life. But I am incredibly interested in how Imagineering solves this. Animatronic technology has evolved tremendously since Everest was designed. We now have figures that can be lighter, faster, more efficient, and far more sophisticated than what Imagineering was working with in the early 2000s. So we could see a heavily redesigned, or honestly the most likely option, a completely new Yeti figure. Could Disney find a way to achieve a similar effect while reducing the stress created by a gigantic moving figure? I think it's very likely. Obviously, because animatronic technology has drastically increased over the past 20 years, and I think there's a way to make the Yeti significantly lighter than the animatronic that is currently just sitting there right now. So I think if they do go out of their way to fix this structure and replace the Yeti, it's definitely going to increase the lifespan of the ride. I think they will also take this time in this closure to obviously refurbish a lot of things on Expedition Everest that have probably needed it for a long time. Obviously, coasters, especially at Walt Disney World, don't really close for annual maintenance, so they can use extended closures like this to really go in and fix or update pieces of track, ride systems, effects within the ride, to really fine-tune and give them the upgrades that they have needed for probably years. I will say I don't think this attraction is going to be closing anytime soon. I feel like this is going to be around the time Tropical Americas is either opening or right after it is opening. Everest is a massive chunk of Animal Kingdom's capacity, so losing that ride will definitely hurt that park's throughput, and I imagine this will be a very lengthy closure, but Disney is not confirmed. But I think it's going to be very cool to see this attraction come to life with a brand new Yeti animatronic. Heading over to Epcot, the main marquee attraction, obviously the spherical building itself, Spaceship Earth, is officially receiving a major reimagining. And I think the timing here makes a lot of sense. Disney confirmed that this will be the attraction's first major update in nearly 2 decades, since 2008, and the biggest conceptual change is that the attraction is going to expand beyond simply telling the story of human communication and instead focus on the broader idea of human connection. Disney describes it as bringing Spaceship Earth into the internet age and beyond, and that immediately interests me because as much as I love Spaceship Earth right now, it has reached the point where an attraction about communication feels strangely outdated when it barely addresses the way humans actually communicate today. The current version comes from a completely different technological era. I mean, the last bit of technology we see is the creation of a computer. Obviously, from that one scene, we have come significantly farther in the technological world. I mean, smartphones became an essential part of everyday life. Social media exploded. Video communication becomes completely normal. The internet transformed how basically every person on Earth communicates, works, creates, travels, and maintains relationships. Obviously, the major development of AI within the past couple of years. So there's an incredible amount of material Disney can work with without destroying what makes Spaceship Earth special. Just keep the smell of burning Rome, and that's really all I care about. If you can somehow keep Judi Dench, that'd be incredible, but realistically, that's going to have to change. Just bring this story forward. Disney has not announced a closure date or reopening date yet, so we do not know exactly what this refurbishment is going to be and the length of the refurbishment itself, but the fact that it is happening at all is very exciting. Spaceship Earth is Epcot. It's the icon of the entire park, and if Imagineering gets this right, this could easily be one of those refurbishments that prepares an attraction like this for another 20 years without sacrificing why people loved it in the first place. Some very exciting stuff there, and also Carousel of Progress over at the Magic Kingdom is basically becoming a new show. We finally got more details on Carousel of Progress. The attraction recently closed last month, and we now know that this attraction isn't just receiving a new finale, they are rebuilding the show's timeline for a brand new generation. We now know that the 2 lead characters will be voiced by Jamie Lee Curtis and Bryan Cranston, the absolute perfect choices in my opinion. I cannot wait to see this thing come to life. We know it's going to open with a brand new pre-show beginning with Walt Disney World like we saw over at Disneyland with that animatronic, but it will make its way over to Disney World, which will be absolutely incredible and a great way to open the show. The first scene will take place in the 1960s. The second scene will take place in the 1980s. We got to see the concept art for that and it looks great. The third scene will take place during Y2K, New Year's Eve 1999, and will showcase the arrival of the internet with some early 2000s, and then the final scene will showcase the future 2027 and beyond. And man, these are just the absolute perfect choices for Carousel of Progress. And they're even keeping There's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow throughout the show. I love this. Carousel of Progress was literally designed to change. The entire point of the attraction is progress. But the previous major version did it all the way back to 1994. So this is exactly the kind of refurbishment I want from Disney. You're not bulldozing Walt's attraction. You're taking the original idea and asking, what would this attraction look like if we continued evolving it while also fulfilling the legacy of Carousel of Progress? I mean, this is the perfect refurbishment, honestly. I cannot wait to see the final product of this. Carousel of Progress is one of my all-time favorite attractions ever created, and I cannot wait to see a brand new updated version with some brand new audio animatronics. Also, Disneyland Paris, now heading over to Europe, is getting its original Space Mountain back. That is right, Hyperspace Mountain is going away, and Space Mountain de la Tierra a la Luna is returning. Space Mountain from the Earth to the Moon is coming back to Disneyland Paris. More specifically, Disney describes this as a reimagined attraction inspired by the Jules Verne story that originally shaped the Paris version back when the attraction opened, complete with the attraction's original music score and a refreshed experience with some enhanced effects. This is huge, and this version of Space Mountain, in my opinion, is by far the best. I mean, it has an upwards launch, it goes upside down, it's aggressive, has onboard audio, and even as Hyperspace Mountain, it was easily my favorite Space Mountain coaster I've personally ridden. So take that insane coaster layout, restore the Jules Verne inspired identity that was literally designed for Discoveryland. Thank you, Disney. You're getting it now. Disney didn't just say the Star Wars overlay was leaving temporarily. They are specifically reviving the From the Earth to the Moon identity and its original music score. This is one of those comparatively small projects that could completely transform an area of a park and make people like me want to book a flight out to Paris to get to experience the original version. And also over at Disney Adventure World, Disney gave us significantly more information about the upcoming Lion King attraction. This ride sounds incredible. Construction is underway on an entire immersive Lion King area, with the attraction built underneath a massive 120-foot Pride Rock. Rock. Disney confirmed this will be a new flume ride featuring audio animatronics, special effects, 3 slopes, and a major 52-foot drop. And thankfully, there's actually a story. This isn't just 10 minutes of everybody celebrating, and then you go down a drop. This ride is going to retell Simba's journey from cub to king, including the darker moments of the film and Simba's final confrontation with Scar. This makes me so happy. One thing I've always loved about classic Disney attractions is that they aren't afraid to create tension. Rides like Splash Mountain had legitimately creepy section. Maelstrom had trolls. Snow White's Scary Adventure was literally scary. Those moments make the happy ending more satisfying because you actually went through something to get there. And The Lion King is perfect for the style of attraction. You have Circle of Life, you have Hakuna Matata, you have all the colorful musical moments, but then you have Scar, the Elephant Graveyard, the Wildebeest Stampede, and the final battle for Pride Rock. Disney Adventure World desperately needed another gigantic anchor attraction, and this could absolutely become one of Disneyland Paris Resort's best rides when it does open. Now let's head to Shanghai Disneyland because Disney gave us another update on its upcoming Spider-Man expansion. This is going to be the first Disney Parks land anywhere in the world dedicated entirely to Spider-Man, built around a Shanghai division of WEB, the Worldwide Engineering Brigade. Peter Parker and his friends are developing Spider-Bots, experiments, and apparently their own roller coaster. What could possibly go wrong? More importantly, Disney confirmed that the final piece of coaster track has now been installed, so the physical coaster layout is complete, which means we're going to get a lot of those show scenes and thematic elements now added to the attraction. Disney also revealed that Imagineering is working with local artists on more than 20 murals throughout the land. I really love that. Shanghai Disneyland already has some of the most unique Disney attractions in the world, and instead of cloning another Spider-Man attraction, they're getting an entire land and a major thrill coaster. We still don't know every detail of the ride experience. I don't want to look at concept art and pretend every scene Disney illustrated is guaranteed to exist exactly that way. But everything we've seen so far makes this ride look enormous and absolutely incredible. And now just moving over to Hong Kong Disneyland also received more information about its Marvel expansion. A new Avengers Pavilion is under construction as part of Stark Expo, housing the Avengers Research Testing Labs, where Stark Industries, Peter Parker, and other characters are developing powerful new technology. Obviously, something goes wrong because we are in a theme park, and Disney says this experience will use more than 120 feet of storytelling technology as guests travel through locations including Wakanda and Asgard alongside Spider-Man and other heroes. A new Quinjet landing platform will also be built nearby for character encounters. I mean, this is incredible, and I love that it's going to utilize the Tower of Terror ride system. Personally, I just wish they built a Twilight Zone Tower of Terror attraction. I think if you're going to use this ride system, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Tower of Terror is easily the best way to use this attraction, but I do think the idea of this is going to be really cool. Interesting how it is windowless. That's one thing I would personally change, but I do really like the idea. I think that is definitely going to allow for a more immersive experience. It's going to be really cool to see a ground up modern version of this attraction. Hong Kong Disneyland has been absolutely killing it with its expansions lately, and continuing to build out this Marvel area gives the park another substantial experience it desperately deserves. And then there's Tokyo Disneyland. Tokyo literally demolished its original Space Mountain to build an entirely new attraction in a surrounding area from scratch, and now the ride officially has the name Space Mountain Earthrise. Disney says guests will launch into the cosmos and experience Earth from a perspective unlike anything previously created for a Disney attraction. The ride is also designed as a centerpiece of Tokyo Disneyland's completely reimagined Tomorrowland, and it is intended to emphasize the connection between Earth and the universe. Previous Disney information has described the new Space Mountain as retaining the idea of a high-speed indoor coaster while receiving dramatically enhanced performance and immersive special effects, with the new experience slated for 2027. This is going to be insane. Tokyo Disney Resort already operates some of the best Disney attractions ever, so when they say we're tearing down Space Mountain and starting over, my expectations immediately became ridiculously high, especially with this ride being manufactured by Intamin, including things like tilt tracks. The launch sequence they showed us looks absolutely incredible. This is going to be one of the greatest attractions over at Tokyo Disneyland. They also announced that Sugar Rush Sweet Rescue is coming, a brand new version of Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters, essentially reskinning the ride under Wreck-It Ralph, but the scenes in this look absolutely incredible. The brand new animatronics that they showcased at D23 look phenomenal. I mean, this is going to be one of the best interactive attractions in any park in the world. I would sure love to see something like this come to the States, but in the meantime, Tokyo Disney will have to do, and I think this is going to be a smash hit for that park. Then we head back over to the States as we head to California Adventure for the first ever Coco attraction. And I love basically everything Disney revealed about this ride. First, its new capacity. The attraction isn't replacing anything. It's not ripping out some beloved rides so Disney can put Coco inside. It is an actual expansion. Construction is underway near Paradise Gardens Park and Pixar Pier, and the storyline sounds way more interesting than I expected. The attraction takes place 1 year after the original Coco. You'll enter through a Casa Museo dedicated to Hector Rivera's music before boarding a boat and traveling through Miguel's memories of the land of the dead. And other characters will appear throughout the experience. Disney also confirmed there will be no height requirement, making this a true family dark ride. And maybe the detail that excites me the most is that Imagineering specifically says it is drawing inspiration from attractions like Pirates of the Caribbean and Haunted Mansion while bringing Coco's skeletal characters to life through modern audio animatronic technology. That's exactly what DCA needs. The park has a ton of gigantic thrill rides and e-tickets. Give me a huge, beautiful physical boat ride that basically anybody can experience. Finally, Avengers Campus is about to become dramatically larger. Both Avengers Infinity Defense and Stark Flight Lab are officially scheduled to open in 2028, and Disney says the expansion will double the size of Avengers Campus. And Infinity Defense is the one I'm most excited about. Guests are recruited by Ms. Marvel before being sent on a mission to reassemble the Avengers and stop Thanos. And this thing sounds gigantic. Disney says you'll move through massive physical sets combined with huge media scenes as the attraction takes you between places like Asgard, Wakanda, and New York City. A lot of the original Avengers return and reprise their roles, like Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye, Anthony Mackie as Captain America, Chris Hemsworth as Thor, and even Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. This is going to be absolutely exciting. I can't wait to see the final product for this ride. And right next door is Stark Flight Lab. Guests board two-person gyrokinetic pods, travel along a track, and stop in front of enormous robotic arms that pick up the ride vehicles and perform high-speed flight maneuvers. Robert Downey Jr., Anthony Mackie, and Brie Larson are all involved in the attraction as well. I know I'm probably in the minority here, but I actually really enjoy Avengers Campus. I love the atmosphere. I actually really like web slingers more than people seem to like it. My biggest problem with the land has always been that it never really had that gigantic attraction that made the area feel complete. Infinity Defense might finally be that ride, and then combining that enormous dark ride with something as bizarre and unique as Stark Flight Lab could definitely completely change how people view Avengers Campus. And those are just some of the announcements from D23. That's what's crazy. These aren't even necessarily the headlining projects. We still have things like Piston Peak, Tropical Americas, Monstropolis, Villains Land, the Disneyland Tomorrowland transformation, and a ridiculous number of other projects that we're going to dive much deeper into here on Theme Park Hunting. But this entire presentation left me feeling more excited about the future of Disney than I have in a long time, because it wasn't only here's the next IP we're building, they're fixing the Yeti, they're updating Spaceship Earth, we're getting things like a brand new Journey into Imagination with Figment, they're completely reinventing Carousel of Progress, they're restoring the Jules Verne identity to Space Mountain. That combination is what I want to see from Disney. Preserve what works, fix what doesn't, bring classics forward, and then build completely new things alongside them. For the first time in a while, it really feels like Disney Imagineering has an insane amount of momentum behind it, and I cannot wait to see where all of this goes. So let me know down in the comments, what was your favorite announcement from the D23 Parks panel, and which of these attractions are you most excited to experience? We have a ton more videos about D23 coming soon, so make sure you subscribe to Theme Park Hunting so you don't miss any of it, and it is the best way to help us out and support us here. And as always, from Theme Park Hunting, and I will see you all later.